What's up everyone, it's Skill Up here with another Division video. I know a lot of console players out there are very anxious about the recent changes to loot drops in the Underground. Many people commenting that it's just not worth it to run the Underground anymore and that all you get is lots of purple drops. So in a recent video I said I really wanted to spend a lot of time clearly communicating the nature of 1.4 as it stands right now so that people can see just how different it is from patch 1.3. In that context, I wanted to show you just how much loot you can expect to get from farming the Underground after 1 hour with a fairly decent build while playing solo. So I'm going to break this all down for you now. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through my build so you know what I was running while I was doing this. Alright guys, so as you can see, this is my build here. It's really nothing special. How did I get this stuff? This is actually all the stuff I had in my bank on my existing character. So I just literally booted up my old man here. This is him with the fancy helmet on. I had a look at all my items. I said, cool, what can I put together that's pretty basic? I got a vigorous chest because the overheal's quite nice. I got a 3-piece Lone Star. One of the Lone Star pieces is actually 204, so there's that. I got 2-piece Nomad because it's really nice from a heal perspective. And the reason I chose Lone Star, by the way, is because the 3-piece is actually quite good, 8% LMG damage, and I'm running with 2 LMGs. I'll talk more and more about why Lone Star and LMGs are really good later on, not in this video though. But the LMG I've got is quite decent, as you can see here. It's got Prepared, which is okay on it. It's got Deadly, which is okay because I don't really build for much crit. It's got Destructive though, which is really excellent. It's a great talent to have. And yeah, so that's it. Nothing special. As you can see, there's no mod slot here because this is only a 204. Other stuff has mod slots. That one doesn't. Yeah, I've got no performance mods active. And yeah, this is super bare bones. Anyone is going to be able to put together something really similar to this really fast. So do just keep that in mind when I talk about this this next part. So that's the build. Let's talk about now how I did this. So the process I went through was essentially I did 4 Underground runs back to back. I didn't die during any of them. So obviously if you died, that would slow you down in terms of your loot per hour. But I didn't die and that was really nice. That's really helpful. And you know, as you can see here, I'm just progressing through it. You know, it's very manageable at this difficulty level. If you have a build similar to mine and you play smart, you take cover, you keep yourself topped up, you know, you're going to be able to manage it. In particular, if you've got your self-revive up, you know, you can play very aggressively, and that's what you'll see me do very often. When that's up, I just face tank stuff, I just go hell for leather. But when that's down, I definitely play smarter. I place, you know, sort of, you know, taking a lot more cover. So yeah, that's generally the way that I'm playing the game at this point. So that was pretty much it. I just cleared 4 runs back to back. They take about 15 minutes each, depending on which one you get. My last one was actually quite tricky. And yeah, that was all of it. So after that, you'll see here that I'm back at base, and this is everything that dropped for me. You'll see I have 43 items in my inventory. However, they're not all actual items. 8 of them are sealed caches that I was yet to open. Now, not everyone knows this, but in patch 1.4, you actually get 2 types of caches when you do the Underground. You get the Underground caches, which you always got. The difference being now, even when you are max level in the Underground, you are still going to continue to earn Underground caches. So the game maxes you out at level 40, but you keep earning Underground caches after that. So that's really nice. The other thing that you get are field proficiency caches, which are essentially free caches that you get every time you would have leveled up. So once you hit level 30, right, your XP bar continues to fill up, and every time you fill it up again, you get a new field cache, and inside that there's items, and they're obviously, you know, they're level appropriate, so it looks at your current gear score, it gives you something right for you, and that's it. So the loot that you get while running in the Underground is not only from enemies, it's not only from bosses, it's not only from completing the Underground, it's not only from the Underground caches, it's also just from the field proficiency caches. So it's a very efficient way of farming, and that's one of the reasons why I choose to farm it so much. So as you can see here now, I'm opening up all of the caches that I got, and I certainly got quite a bit of stuff out of there, which was really nice. And then that's the final result. At the end of it, I got 48 items for my farming. So I spent 1 hour in there, 4 clears, and I got 48 items. And just for those that are particularly interested in the math on that, it essentially means that I got 0.8 items every minute. So every minute of the play that you're in the underground, you're farming away, you can generally expect 0.8 items. So many people right now are thinking, well, that's all well and good, Skill Up, but most of those are going to be trash, like purples or high ends. How many actual gear set items did you get? And that's a really good question. I'm happy to report that I received a total of 17 gear set items in my 1 hour of play. So as you can see here, I'm just clicking through them all. These are all new gear set items that I did not have in my bags before I commenced this hour of play. And yeah, that's a lot of loot. And obviously, all of these are 229. There is no lower gear set items. It's all 229 stuff. And yeah, so that's a lot of gear set items. That's 17 in 1 hour of play. And if we compare that to patch 1.3, there is absolutely no way we would have got anywhere near that amount of loot. The other thing I will mention is the diversity of these drops as well. Typically in the underground in patch 1.3, 95% of the time you are getting blind and firecrest. Not here. I've got pretty much one of every gear set represented throughout it, because weighting has been, or loot drop weighting has been removed in the underground. You literally just have a chance to get any gear set at all. Now, absolutely, it must be said that your mileage may vary when it comes to this, but there are some guarantees when it comes to your loot drops. For example, bosses will always drop at least 1 gear set, but most of them that I killed dropped 2. The field caches and underground caches have a very, very high chance to drop gear set items. And I will say that I think I got 1 gear set drop from enemies, as in non-bosses, while I was doing the underground. So yeah, for sure, absolutely, you may get less gear set drops while you're doing this than I did, but simultaneously you will get more of them as well if you are lucky. I'll say this, I have run a lot of the underground on PTS, and obviously doing a whole bunch of other activities as well, watched plenty of streams, spoken to plenty of people. I'll tell you, this number of gear set drops is pretty indicative. It's not a crazy outlier. It's not like I got super RNG lucky. This is generally what you can expect to get every time you spend 1 hour in the underground. Somewhere between 15 and 20 gear set items is quite realistic indeed. The other thing that I hear lots of talk about is the number of purple items that are dropping in the underground. Everyone's like, oh, it's just spam purples, just nothing but purples, ridiculous, I don't need purples, whatever. So how many purples did I get? Well, I got a grand total of 6 purple items from my time in the underground. It was basically 1 per slot almost. So yeah, 6 items as compared to 48 items in total. 6 purple items compared to 17 gear set items. So I think the talk about, too many purples dropping is probably a little bit exaggerated, and everyone's sort of asking, well, why do they drop at all? I don't know, maybe Massive just want to give us crafting materials, or I'm not sure, I couldn't say. But for whatever reason, I don't think that the drop rate of purples is really out of control at this point. I do think you're going to get plenty of the sweet, sweet gear sets, and obviously plenty of high-end. Now, the last thing in terms of weapons, I will say I got a total of 10 high-end weapons while I was doing that, right? So 60 minutes of play, 4 underground runs, I got 10 high-end weapons dropping for me, which is also quite nice. That's, I think, a fairly decent, chunky amount of loot. I haven't even looked at whether or not any of them are good. I'm sure some of them will be great combinations of talents. I'm sure a lot of them will be garbage. But do remember now with weapons, when you recalibrate them, you actually get 6 talent options as opposed to just 3. So it's going to be a hell of a lot easier for you to get the talent that you want, meaning that when you're grinding for a particular weapon, you really only need it to drop with 2 out of 3 good talents, and you're almost guaranteed to eventually get that other one after you re-roll it 1, 2, 3 times, whatever, you're gonna get it, So the RNG on that aspect of the game has definitely been civilized. It's going to be a lot easier for us to get those best in slot weapons. The very last point I will make about all of this is that I did this solo with a fairly okay build, nothing spectacular. you, if you are running this with a group, will be able to do this much, much faster than I did. And the reason for that is because you will have the same number of enemies when you are running with a group. Those enemies will have slightly more HP, right? And they will put out slightly more damage, but they will not have 4 times the amount of health. It will not be like that. It does not scale that way. So ultimately, it becomes even more efficient for you when you are playing with a group than what I have just demonstrated to you here. So I'm getting, 50 items nearly in an hour. If you're running with a group, you're probably going to be able to push 60 items an hour, maybe even 70, depending on how well optimized your group is. It's entirely up to you. So do keep in mind that what I have just shown you is in fact the least efficient way to farm the underground. And if you run with people, you are going to do it much faster than I just did it then. So that's it, guys. I am not going to offer an opinion on whether or not this amount of loot is the right amount of loot. That is not helpful at this point. What matters is that console players get to see it for themselves and they can make their own determinations with regards to whether or not this loot is right for them. The point I do want to make though is that this is nothing like patch 1.3. There is absolutely no way that you could solo end game activities that give you best in slot loot, as in max gear score loot, and that you could do that to the point where you could loot 50 or nearly 50 items per hour. There was absolutely no way in hell that that was remotely possible in patch 1.3, and that is the key point that I want to impress on people here. It is not like this is, the recent changes to week 4 have taken us back to patch 1.3. As you can see in this video, it is still a very decent amount of loot that will absolutely see you progressing your character, whether you are playing for 1 hour or more, whether you are playing solo or a group, whether you are playing with a fairly basic build or a highly optimized build, you are going to be moving forward. And that's what I really wanted to communicate. That's what I really hope that people are able to see, because I think that's the concern that many people have, and I totally get it. If you're not on the PTS, you don't get to see this for yourself. So I wanted to make this video to give you as much information as possible. In that same spirit, I'm actually going to be uploading the full uncut 1 hour clear that I just did, so you can see it for yourself. You can see my build, you can see how hard enemies are hitting me, you can see how I play, how quickly I progress through it, the loot drops, you can see it all. So that'll be going up on my channel just after this video, and I'm going to be putting a link in the description below. So do check that out if you're interested in that yourself. So if you like this video, guys, and you found it useful, do drop it a like. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe for end-to-end division coverage. If you'd like me to do any other videos on what is coming in patch 1.4 and doing comparison videos, let me know, because I really want to do as much as I can for the console community to make sure they can see what it's going to be like. I can't do everything, but I'll do as much as I can. So hit me up in the comments below if you'd like to see some stuff. For now, guys, thanks for watching. Take good care, and I'll see you in the underground. Bye.